All right, guys, Thom Hunt here in the kit room, and today we're going to run through what I think is my essentials kit list for pike fishing in the winter in the UK, but this will apply to plenty of other places around Europe or maybe even America. I've got a lot of different viewers from a lot of different countries, and we're going to run through everything today. This is kind of a beginner's video. You know, I see a lot of carp anglers, coarse anglers, even fly anglers enjoying their summer fishing. Gets to the winter, they think, oh, I want to try a bit of lure fishing, want to catch a decent sized pike. Best time is the winter for a nice fat pike. But please watch this video, pay attention, because this is the essentials. And without any one of these single items, you can get yourself in a bit of a pickle. You can either lose fish, you can damage yourself, or you just end up in a crying shame losing the fish of a lifetime. All right, so first of all, when beginners get into lure fishing, they often see these and it scares the living daylights out of them. A bait caster reel. Now, it is very different to a traditional spinning style reel. But the good news is I'm here to say that even with pike fishing, you don't have to use one of these. So if you want to give one a go, absolutely give them a crack. They are a very interesting, different way of fishing, but there is a little bit of pain along the way. You're going to get some backlashes. You're going to get some bird's nest. You've got to learn a new style. All right. So if you want to give it a go, then by all means do. But it's perfectly possible, all right, to still use a spinning reel for good sized pike fishing. Okay, now what the recommendations I'm going to give today, I'm going to keep all of my baits that I'm going to recommend, just a handful of them. They're super easy to use and they're all in about that sort of 35 to 75 gram range, all right, which puts them at good sized pike baits, but we're not going completely over the top. It's not super heavy, they're not difficult to cast, and you can, if you want to, use them on a spinning setup. I do most of my pike fishing on this setup. This is a 30 to 80 gram rod, but I've also got, my general rule of thumb is I go spinning style reel up to about 100 grams. I've got another one called the W4 Power Lure, which goes up to 100 grams. This is the Power Strike that goes up to 80 grams. And again, for beginners, this probably isn't for you. This is the W8 range, which is like 500 quid. But we've also got W2 and W3 ranges if you want to check them out from Westin. The Power Cast, very, very good pike range, super popular, really strong, really durable, can cast all of these baits, much more affordable, from about sort of 80 quid, all right? So on a spinning reel, I typically go 35, maybe 40 pound braid. I typically don't go above 40 pound braid on a spinning reel because it gets a little bit wiry. When I go above 40 pound, I move over to my heavy bait caster setups. But for an introduction to pike fishing, if you're going to go spinning style, because you've probably got a spinning reel already, and maybe you've even got a carp rod or some sort of rod that you might be able to use already, go ahead as long as it casts these baits in that kind of 30 to 70 gram range, as long as it's comfortable at dealing with those. But if you are looking at a new rod, spinning reel, 3,000 or 4,000 size, braid, 35 to 40 pound on this type of setup, 8 foot long, like I said, cast up to 100 grams, but keep your baits in that sort of 40 to 70 gram range is absolutely perfect. That will get you bites. It'll get you bites from 2 pound pike on virtually any venue. You want to go to a canal, you've got a river, you've got a lake, doesn't matter. Those types of baits will get you bites from anything from 2 pound up to your 20 pounders. Okay, that's why I'm recommending it. So good strong braid. And before we get onto the business end, this is super important. If I can find them, where have they gone? Here they are. Right, guys. Every single year, I catch a pike or I see posts online where someone has caught a fish and it's had undergunned tackle. Importantly, maybe missing out this step. Pike have got super sharp teeth. You need to use a wire trace to stop them biting through the line. If you just use regular monofilament line or braid straight through to your baits, they will bite through the line. You're going to lose your bait. You're going to lose the fish of a lifetime potentially, and you're going to endanger that fish leaving hooks in its mouth. All right, so please, you don't have to get to making your own traces. Once you've learned a little bit more, you can get all of the tools, the cutters, the crimpers, the crimps, the swivels, the clips. You can make your own and it's more affordable. However, get a reputable brand, right? I'm always pimping Westin, of course I am. But when it comes down to this, I don't care as long as it's good quality. It can be from any of the brands as long as it's good quality. Ours are all American Fishing Wire, superb brand, one of the best wire makers in the world. We make them with all the best components. They're stress tested and they're super strong and durable, and they've got proper clips on them, all right? One thing to avoid, those cheap, horrible eBay, horrible, like green, disgusting wire traces. People think they're doing themselves a favor by getting them. They're rubbish. They're too short. The components on them are really poor. The clips open. You can even cast a bait off. You know, you might spend 10 or 15 quid on a really good quality hard bait. That might cast off because the clip and the components are so rubbish, all right? So avoid cheap wire traces, all right? There's still only a few quid for the good quality ones. So please get the best ones that you can afford. It can be from any brand, all right? I don't care as long as it's a good one. So let's move on to some baits next. And all of this selection I've made because you can cast them on, clip them on, cast them out, and away you go. They're all built in and ready to go, all right? So look at that. Ricky the Roach, super famous. That's the 14 centimeter version. Got a top hook, got a treble. You can remove the treble if you want. It's on a split ring. Comes in a variety of colours. Brilliant tail action. Cast it out, wind it in. You're going to catch pike, 100%. I've caught thousands of pike on all these baits. If you've started researching about lure fishing, you 100% will have come across the shad tees, our most famous lure for the last 10 years and the next decade. R2F again, ready to fish, integrated weight system, integrated hook system, clip it on, cast it out, away you go. Another one, we got the bull tees here. Again, comes in a paddle tail, so the tail action's built in. Also comes in a curly tail, so really great when the water's super cold. You can fish these really slow and you still get a really brilliant mesmerizing action. So again, if you want a little bit of variety, think about a paddle tail in your box, think about a curly tail in your box, and keep trying different ones. In terms of hard baits, I've just got 2 or 3 here. First one is a Westin Swim. Look at all the teeth marks on that. It's shredded to pieces. Super easy. Cast them out. They cast like bullets. Brilliant if you've got a crosswind. Fish them in shallowish water. You know, they work best into water up to about 8 to 10 foot deep. Fantastic. New one we brought out is a hybrid. So it's the swim body. Comes with 2 tails, a paddle tail and a curly tail. So it's like 2 baits in one. Again, brilliant. Built-in rattles, casts like a bullet. And if you're doing any boat fishing and you want a trolling lure or a casting lure, this is our raw bite. Again, tons of teeth marks in it. Don't be afraid to spend money on your hard baits because they last for so long, as long as you don't chuck them up a tree. All right, again, built-in rattle, built-in wobbling action, super fantastic. There's tons of baits on the market, but again, when it comes to pike fishing, you want strong, sharp hooks, good quality baits that have got built-in actions, and it makes it so simple. There's no rigging hiccups. There's no like, oh, I don't know how to twitch this one or whatever. All of that selection there, raw bite, swim, bull tees, shad tees, Ricky the Roach, all in R2F range, ready to fish, hyper easy, and you will I guarantee it. The Thom Hunt guarantee you will catch pike on those baits. All right. So that's the business end. Now, we got our rod and reel. We got our trace on. We've got a brilliant bait on. We know we're going to catch. What do? We go out. We hook one. What do we do next? Right. Essentials kit list. A decent size landing net. Rubberized mesh if you can get it. Nice strong aluminium frame. That's a large size. We also do folding ones here, which go up to super sized if you're really hoping to catch like a mega sized fish. But again, don't go crying into your porridge the day after you've lost a massive fish because you had 3 attempts at getting it in a tiny net and you failed. All right, so make sure you've got a decent enough sized landing net to be able to get it in safely and you know, get the picture of a lifetime or your new PB. When it comes to other bits of luggage, rucksack, essentials, don't have to buy a fishing one. Maybe you've got an old sports bag or whatever, doesn't matter. You only need a box with a few lures in, spare traces, get out on the bank, get on the river, get on the lakes. Easy, simple. You don't need to spend money on that stuff. We've got it. We've got the luggage in W2 and W4, super snazzy ones with all the pockets. But again, when it comes to essentials kit list, anything, any old bag to carry your stuff is absolutely fine. An unhooking mat is really important. If you've got a lot of nice soft grass and stuff around your venue, you can get away without one, but really I would recommend a decent unhooking mat. These fish, we need to look after them. It's all catch and release here in the UK and a lot of other countries now. So look after them, make sure they go back properly, all right? And an unhooking mat is a bit of an essential. And then coming on to my finish is tools. Again, guys, the reason this is an essentials list is because if you've got the right bait, the right unhooking mat, the right net and the right tools, but your braid's £12 and it snaps and you can't get the fish in and you lose it, you're going to upset yourself. Conversely, if you catch a great fish, you've got the right braid, the right rod and a good bait, and you've got a net that's too small and you can't get it in and then you lose it, you're going to be upset. If you then get it in, but you've got a tiny pair of little forceps and you can't unhook it properly, and unfortunately it dies on you, you're also going to be quite upset. So that's why this is the essentials kit list. Any one of these can make your day go really, really wrong if you don't have them. So unhooking pliers, again, doesn't matter on the style. We've got these ones here, the old trigger grip ones, really good for getting in there. They need to be nice and long. Or you can go for a long-nosed set of pliers like that. Again, you can get in there, get the hooks out. Really, really important for unhooking. Second most important thing, wire cutters or hook cutters. Heavy duty. We can replace hooks. We cannot replace 20 and 30 pound pike. All right. So again, we typically use trebles when we're fishing for pike. If you get one anywhere in and around the gill rakers, or you've got any style of bleeding, your instant go-to should be cut the hooks, get the bait removed safely, then take the pieces out. If they start thrashing around and it's caught and you've got a heavy bait shaking around making damage, all right, just think, the first thing that you should think when it's any blood coming out or anywhere around the gill rakers, cut the hooks out, all right? Please, please, please. A good set of heavy duty hook cutters, essential. I don't see enough even of the top guys carrying those in their bags, all right? So really key. And then my third top tip for a tool is going to be some sort of cutter. So here I can cut braid, I can cut fluoro, I can even cut light wire on it. I can do some crimping on here. I've got some crimping holes and I've got split ring pliers on the tip there as well. All right, so yeah, I use these types of things all the time, but those 3 tools, there's probably about 10 tools that I use across the year, including crimping tools, other multi-tools, a variety of different sized pliers or split ring pliers, micro ones, or forceps for my perch fishing, that type of stuff. But for pike fishing, those are the 3. Long-nosed unhooking pliers, wire and hook cutters, and some sort of split ring plier or multi-tool. So there you go, guys. That is my essentials kit list. If you're a beginner, you're thinking about getting out for pike, all right, another top tip, go with someone that's got a bit of experience. People catch pike in the end and then they scare themselves to death. They don't know how to handle them. I've even heard of people just cutting the line and putting them back because they don't know how to go. They don't want to go anywhere near the teeth. All right, so watch some videos online. Familiarize yourself with fish, pike, how to handle them. They are quite delicate. Have the right equipment. Unhook them and look after them. Keep them safe, please. And yeah, and then future generations can enjoy them for years to come. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Few of my essentials kit list. I'll see you on the next one.